Tell Me About It is brought to you by Extreme Health Club.
Trevent Hayes, KY Sports TV here with James Brown, 104 The Score. We're on Glasgow Electric Plant Board Channel 6, the local channel on Tell Me About It.
Yep.
And James, after I got dressed and was walking in this morning, I looked at my sweatshirt and my jacket, and I'm kind of Michael Jackson-ish today.
Are you?
Yeah, I got zippers everywhere.
Oh, you do?
I got zippers everywhere. And you know,
you
I was thinking about
today?
It's close. It's close. But I was admiring James's sweater. Really nice polo sweater. I think it's the first time I've ever seen you.
What? Where are you going with that one?
Well, I'm not going to go. I mean, you have a haircut.
Yeah.
It's combed.
You act like I want to.
Well, I'm just saying.
like I wear like bags on my feet and
No,
whatnot.
I'm joking.
Come on, man.
But I just really like your sweater.
Thank you. I like sweaters a lot. It's just I usually wear the company gear, when I'm in for the show, so people.
We
can
don't
see
have
the
any
look.
company gear.
Well, not
for Tell Me
this
About
show,
It.
but I mean, like I usually wear my.
Do you think we could
104
get some of the
Sport stuff.
producers' money and get us maybe a couple of hoodies and a jacket?
I mean, if we, sure.
Okay. James offered me a book to read.
I did. Which one?
Zakur or somebody.
Nah, Zora Neale Hurston.
Zora Neale Hurston.
Of Mules and Men.
Of Mules and Men.
Yeah, it's great.
And I told James I couldn't read, so I'm going to have to find somebody to read it to me. Reading is boring.
What?
Yes.
I don't read. Man, I used to read all the time. I do not read as much as I used to.
I picked you out to be a reader.
I mean, it's kind of, if you wanted to be a writer, you might need to read.
See, I don't write either.
Well, see, so I don't really do that much anymore either, which is probably why I don't read as much.
Okay.
But
I like pictures.
I do too.
And if it's a good book, I'd rather just watch the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I mean, the Bible. I read the Bible, but
Well, that's good for you.
that's all. I mean, I just don't enjoy reading.
There's some exciting stuff in the Bible.
It is.
Especially if you get in that first chapter there, you got some murders and mayhems and all kinds of stuff.
It's a lot of things. There was a lot of drunks and murders, and
Yeah.
a lot of things happen in the Bible.
Anyway, so how about we talk about something we know about?
Sports.
Yes.
We act like we know about sports.
Well, people watching this show are like, why don't you just talk sports?
Okay. Well, that's the beauty of us really being able to talk about what we want to talk about, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Excellent.
Okay, sorry if you didn't. Okay, let's go.
I apologize on behalf of all the people who would like to hear about sports now. Anyway, let's talk about the Governor Colonels winning the 5th Region All-A tournament.
20-year drought.
Yep.
Broke the 20-year drought. Actually, messaged Jalen before the game Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Just told him a couple of things that I'd like to see him do. And, I don't ever interfere with the basketball coach, either one of the basketball coaches. But there's just some things that I think, I can say to some of the kids that I've coached. Mm-hmm. And they really take it to heart. And, he told us in our interview, Tony and I interviewed him after the Fort Knox game.
Yeah.
And he told us that they were going to beat Greene County.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the best games that I've seen him play as a facilitator. Mm-hmm. He was never in a hurry. He didn't take bad shots. He got everybody involved. But Tyson Martin got in foul trouble early, and that concerned me. But in the second half, he just basically, I saw your son there, and I'm sure he told you Tyson Martin just completely dominated the second half.
He did indeed.
Yes, he had a couple of dunks that really sparked the team. And I've been telling people, my barber actually is from Bowling Green, and I was telling him that, Tyson, he's probably got 15, 20 dunks this year.
Yeah.
Told Tony during the Fort Knox game, I said, you're not going to believe it when you see Tyson just grabs it and goes straight up. He doesn't dribble it. He very, very, very athletic. But I was telling my barber the same thing, and the big kid at Greene County actually jumped with him on the second dunk, and it wasn't a good result for
We got
him.
a poster out there for it.
He got a, I just don't know how to take video and stop it to make pictures. That's what you're good at.
Well, I don't try to do it that way. I just shoot the photos.
Or maybe it's Tony can take the video and stop it to make a picture. I wish I knew how to do stuff like that. I don't read a lot, or I don't do anything with technology.
That's fine. Everybody's got their thing.
But Caverna's waiting to see who they play. Martin County and Betsy Lane still not played yet. They're supposed to play tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, in that tournament, that 15th region tournament was originally supposed to wrap up tonight, Thursday night, but it all got delayed because of the snow and that kind of stuff. So I don't know when they're going to try to wrap it up. Maybe over
Tomorrow.
the weekend, like on Friday.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what their plan is. But I mean, they're
Yeah, they still had like
Supposed
3
to get
games to
snow.
play in that 15th region tournament. Because
I thought it was down to. No, I think that's the finals.
I don't know. It was supposed to be, but I'm not sure they played the games on Tuesday night. When I looked at the last bracket, it had not been updated. So I'm not 100% certain. to be
I
honest with
thought it was Betsy Lane and Martin County playing in the finals.
you. No, I don't think that was the finals. Because Prestonsburg and Pikeville were on the other side of the bracket.
Huh.
So I'm not exactly sure how that bracket had worked out.
I could be wrong. I
Like I said, the
I
last-
can't believe it, but I could be wrong.
The last time I looked at it, it had not been updated. So the Tuesday night games that were supposed to have been played had not been updated on the bracket.
Gotcha.
And so they had played 2 games by Saturday or whatever it was.
Okay.
So, and maybe they had just not updated the bracket because I didn't go actually check the scores. But the bracket that's on the KHSAA site is not the full bracket.
Prestonburg beat Paintsville.
That was a first round game.
Okay.
The bracket that is on the KHSA site is not the accurate bracket. The bracket that's on the All Lake Classic.
They play Pikeville.
That's right. They were supposed to play Pikeville on Tuesday.
Right. So they're going to play. They should be playing tonight.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
We'll figure it out. Whoever it is, I think Caverna's going to be ready.
Yeah. When I was
But the only downside to that is if they win, you know who they're going to have to play the second round.
Newport.
Evangel Christian.
Oh, that's right.
Evangel Christian.
Yeah, you have 3 teams, I would say, on the boys' side of the All-A state tournament that are 3 of the best teams in the state when you get to Lyon County, Newport, and Evangel Christian.
Yep.
So there's 3 loaded A teams out there in that tournament.
But it would be good for Caverna to win a few games in that.
Well, Evangel Christian's leading scorer is out. So that does leave the door open for them. I mean, obviously they have some other good players, but that's that guard. I can't think of his name, Christian something or other. I can't think of his last name.
Jeez, just looking. Lyon County won 104 to 55, 92 to 32, and 114 to 68.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that region's not great. They are really good right now, and that region's not great.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so either way it works out. You know, I think this is the 3rd time Caverna's boys have been to the All-A tournament.
3rd time.
Like they went 2024, 2004, and like 1994, 97.
Oh, no. I went 3 times myself as a player.
So you guys went 3 times when
We
you were
went 3 times. We went in 1990, 1991, and 1993.
Okay.
Yeah,
But did they go between 93 and 2004?
Yes.
And
Yes.
What year?
They went back in 94.
Okay.
Went back in 94, and they went in 96.
That's right. So they were that first.
We owned the 5th Region Class A in the 90s.
Yeah, early part of it.
No, even the latter part. They went in 96 as well.
Okay. So in the initial, when the All A first started, Caverna was in it pretty much every year, and then they didn't go until 2004, and then now 2024. So
Right.
So okay, I forgot that they won it every year when it first started, because the whole state was involved in it.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Okay.
All right, we're going to have to take a quick break. I think we may have spent a little too much time talking about the Class A there, but we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we will talk about Barron County and Glasgow, the big rivalry game that happened last week as well.
All right, sounds good.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It. This is James Brown, 104thescore.com. I'm here with Trevent Hayes, kysports.tv. We're going to talk a little bit about some Barron County and Glasgow basketball, some rivalry. We're going to smirk a little bit while we do it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the boys' game.
No, let's talk about the girls first.
You want to talk about the girls first?
Because Barron's going to win the district, but is anybody in the region going to beat Franklin Simpson?
Not looking like it at the moment.
You looking too good.
So Barron and Bowling Green were supposed to play on Tuesday, but of course they got snowed out. So they're trying to figure out when they're going to play those games. That was going to be a girls-boys doubleheader. And I was curious to see that game, because on the girls' side, because Barron is just struggling to score right now. You go back to that Glasgow game, they were 0 for 9 from 3. I mean, they're just not shooting the ball very well. Abby Varney, who's the best player in the game, basically, she certainly took it over in the fourth quarter. Offensive rebounding, putbacks, made free throws and ones. I mean, she did all the things the best player is supposed to do. And that's not to say the rest of her team didn't do something. It's just that offensively, she was the offense. Meanwhile, on Glasgow's side, kind of what happened was they were 3 of 15 from 3. They've been shooting the ball, they've got some shooters on that team. They shot the ball better, but they didn't shoot the ball very well in that game. They also missed layups. Both teams missed layups. It was kind of an ugly game offensively. Maybe part of that is they know what each other wants to do, and they're defending it pretty well and that kind of jazz. But going back to your question, last week Franklin Simpson beat Bowling Green by 18, I think it was, 51-33. And so I was curious to see this Barron Bowling Green game because, we don't, right now, nobody's close to Franklin Simpson in the fourth region from what we've seen.
Right.
But then again, outside of, Franklin Simpson's good. I think Bowling Green's pretty good again. Barron's certainly good defensively. Their offense has got to get turned around. Warren East is pretty good right now. Other than those 4 teams, nobody else is either consistent or some of them have some of their better players injured. And so, they're struggling right now. And it's just up and down outside of those 4 teams.
They said there were 3 new girls on Franklin Simpson's team that wasn't there last year.
I know Larisha Cawthorn's there.
And then it was a couple of more.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that part other than Cawthorn.
I forgot what coach I talked to that was talking about, he wasn't complaining. He just said they had some new faces that were pretty good.
Yeah. And I don't know, the ones that I saw from the Kentucky 2A thing that had played well, of course, Cawthorn moved over from Russellville. The other 2 that were on the all-tournament team, I think were from last year.
Did they win the 2A?
They lost to Boyd County in the championship. I don't remember, by 11, maybe 61-50, something like that.
Gotcha.
Which, of course, Boyd is routinely makes the state tournament. And I don't understand what the enrollment numbers are for the 2A because Boyd County's a pretty big school compared to Franklin Simpson.
I can't, and it's the same with the boys. Paintsville and Pikeville?
No, they're in the 1A.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Oh, they're not very big schools.
So
It's
every I understand all
Okay.
that, but you're telling me that every boy in Pikeville High School plays football? There's no boys in the band.
Pikeville's a 1A football school.
I know,
I'm not sure what you're saying then.
and they have 60 players on the sideline.
Well, I mean, I've seen schools, man. I mean, everybody's out there. I mean,
They should be 2A.
I don't know. I mean, so it's just the boys' population of the school and the classification stuff for football. I mean,
I think they hide some of those.
you got
numbers.
100 boys at Caverna High School.
I don't have 100 boys.
There are 220 students. Surely there's 100 boys in the school, 9th through 12th grade.
Oh,
All right, so you got 75.
okay, 75.
So if you just let them all hang out on the football team, it looks like you got a bunch, but a lot of them are never going to play. Some schools, I swear, that's really what they do. They just let people come hang out. They're never going to see the game. They just want to be a part of the team. I covered a school in Mississippi. There were 100 and I didn't cover the school. It was a school that played one of the ones I covered. There were 180 students in the school. There were 70 boys in the school. There were 65 boys on the football team.
Wow.
They literally, 9th through 12th grade, it was Ware, Mississippi, where DeCenzo Miller was from. They literally, everybody wanted to be on the football team. People who knew they were never going to play were just on the football team. They had a massive number. They were never going to play. I swear, there are probably schools that really just kind of do that.
What about Glasgow boys? Are they?
They are hard to figure out, honestly, because, you see them play a team like Adair County, and they play defense so well. They shoot the ball well. They get into transition and score. They seem unable to solve a zone because they're so dependent on the isolation and penetration with Jarek Martin and John Carter Walbert. Now, when they're able to do it, either they score or it opens up passes, to Jeremiah Driver or JoJo Driver, that kind of stuff. Kanan Allen, for open shots. And so when they're able to kind of play the way they want to play, they're pretty tough. But against the zone, they seem to struggle to figure out the ways to attack a zone. And against Barron County got off to the hot start. They hit 5 threes in the first quarter. I think it was 4 different people who hit 5 threes, and maybe 5 different people. And Glasgow didn't. Then Glasgow figured that part out, and they played a lot better defensively after those first 5 minutes or so of the game. But in the fourth quarter, then Barron went to a zone to try to slow down the penetration, and basically just kind of iced the game out like that. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to figure them out, Glasgow. I mean, because you just don't, from game to game. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see. The defensive intensity is there. They're playing good defense, I think, all the time in terms of like what they're supposed to be doing assignment-wise. But offensively is where I'm not sure what you're going to see from game to game. Meanwhile, the Barron County Trojans are unlike any Barron County Trojans team that I can remember, and probably just about anybody that's going to run up and down the floor and shoot threes. I mean, it's like watching, I don't know, what was that? Coastal Florida, or whatever that year.
Florida Gulf Coast?
Yeah, that was just a bunch of dudes.
FGCU.
Yeah, that just, they were shocking. Everybody they put on the floor could shoot a three. That's kind of how Barron's playing, with the exception of Graham Hall, but because they're shooting the three so well, it's opening up things inside for him, and he's playing well, and he's a good passer. So, it's an interesting contrast from what we've seen from Barron County in the last few years. It's pretty impressive to go from teams that are dependent on what we were just talking about with Glasgow, penetrate and kick, inside play and that kind of stuff, methodical offense a lot of times, to a team that's just running wild and not out of control, but I mean, just running and shooting. And it's just a fascinating transition.
I guess it helps to have shooters.
Well, I mean, and they do. I mean, you got guys from your starting guards, Tate Spillman and Bray Bewley, and whether it's Waylon Clemens starting, to guys coming off the bench like William Compton and Jackson Reese and Cade Hardy, who come off the bench. Everybody they put in the game can shoot, and you better, and then you got Mason Bunch. Everybody knows he can shoot. Now he's putting the ball on the floor and attacking people. I mean, it's, I'll just be honest, it's a lot of fun to watch them play, win or lose. They've only lost, I think, 3 times, so.
They only lost their games?
I believe that's correct.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sure Warren Cunningham was like, yeah, we're going to run this plan, but you just don't know how it's going to work out until it starts working. So I think even he would be kind of like, this is better than I expected. I knew I had these guys who could do this, but I didn't expect it to be quite this good.
Shooter's going to shoot.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk about the college and NFL coaching carousel.
Yep.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Oh, man, the between segments part. It's a good thing we don't record those.
I know.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It. I'm James Brown, 104thescore.com. I'm here with Trevent Hayes, kysports.tv. We're going to talk some football coaches, people just up and retiring, resigning, being fired.
Forced to resign.
Yeah, being forced.
Retire.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
In what?
The Falcons called Belichick for an interview. Harbaugh for an interview. They didn't give your boy a chance.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't coach football.
I can't. Aaron felt that I should have got a call.
Yes.
That's what you better say. No, all jokes aside, all we heard was Harbaugh's not leaving, Harbaugh's not leaving. Do you think Harbaugh's leaving?
Yeah, Harbaugh's leaving. Everybody knew he was leaving. I don't care what anybody said after that game. I mean, Michigan's losing a ton of talent. Mm-hmm. There's still the belief that there are more sanctions coming from the NCAA, not necessarily just related to the recording other teams and using the company credit card to pay for your travel plans, but there may be some other things that have been going on at Michigan that people are skeptical of. So yeah, like any good coach, he's bailing, while the ship's still above water. But, I mean, look, he had a successful run in the NFL the first time around with the 49ers. He actually stayed at Michigan longer than I expected him to. So, I mean, yeah, he's a hot commodity.
Who was your biggest, what was the biggest surprise for you for an NFL team letting their coach go? Which team?
I'd say it was Mike Vrabel.
At the time, I couldn't believe. I'm not a Titans fan.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a terrible coach.
No, as a matter of fact, I mean, if you just...
you had to put Will Levis in at quarterback.
And turned out Will Levis was not a bad choice to play quarterback.
I just had to throw it in there for Aaron.
But, if you look at, the situation with the Titans, all right, he didn't let A.J. Brown go.
No.
He didn't let Kevin Byard go. He didn't make some of these trades. He was left with what he was left with to do with what he was able to do with. And they still, despite the fact that they had all kinds of problems and Derrick Henry's just not the same Derrick Henry anymore, they weren't that bad. Their record wasn't what you want it to be, but they weren't that bad. And, yeah, I thought he had done a good enough job during his time.
Do you think he'll land a job?
I can't believe he won't. I mean, we still have coaches who, like with the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy and Nick Sirianni.
Do you think he's out?
I don't know if he is. I'm just saying we still have some coaches turnover coming, I do believe. And so that means that right now, of course, if you have a coach opening, you're going to interview Jim Harbaugh and you're going to interview Bill Belichick and you're going to interview Pete Carroll probably. Right now, Vrabel just happens to have 3 future Hall of Fame coaches who are on the market at the moment. So, yeah. And meanwhile, Nick Saban retires at Alabama, and immediately the portal opens up, and people just starting getting sucked out of Alabama.
But now, I just read this morning that a lot of them are now meeting with the coach.
Yeah.
And the 5-star or 4-star receiver, he met with the coach yesterday, and I think he's going to recommit back to Alabama.
Well, I mean, it's still Alabama, and we'll just have to see what this guy brings with him from Washington. What's his name, DeBoer?
DeBowen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the coach at Washington, so.
And he's not been a head coach that long.
No. I mean, obviously, he took a program that had no 5-stars on it at all, and a bunch of transfers and retreads at Washington and made it to the national championship game. That's why he got that Alabama job.
Yeah.
From what he did there. Now the question is he one of those guys who coaches up players that are not at the highest level coming out of high school or that kind of thing, or and can work the transfer portal, or is he a guy who can deal with the egos of the kids coming in who are 5-star recruits like Nick Saban was able to do and say, this is Alabama. We do what we do. You can be a part of it or not. He doesn't have that cachet that Saban had.
I don't think he'll ever get that either.
It's hard. Well, I mean, look, if you look at the history of Alabama coaches, we've had coaches who were successful at Alabama. They got run out of there. You really only have 2 coaches in the history of the program who are just like
Bear Bryant and Nick Saban.
Yeah. All the rest of them, they didn't get a whole lot of time there. So you better be one of them. And obviously, they don't come around every turn cycle. I mean, there are coaches at Alabama, I forgot, between Bear Bryant and Nick Saban, I forgot even coached there.
Bill Curry was at Alabama too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Gene Stallings, who did win a national title and then got run off, I think, a couple of years later. So, yeah, it's a tough gig. I'm curious to see, here was my thought, though. I thought whatever happens, wherever Bill Belichick lands as a head coach, he should hire Pete Carroll as his offensive coordinator and Nick Saban as his defensive coordinator. They could bring the band back together from the mid-'90s Cleveland Browns. What do you think of that idea? Bunch of 72-year-old dudes in the NFL coaching.
Probably making a run for the Super Bowl.
Probably. It'd be fascinating.
What are they going to do?
The Raiders?
Yes.
I think they should hold on to Pierce. I thought he did a good job.
Oh, I did too, but...
I mean, they won't, because they're going to interview Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll and Mike Vrabel and everybody else. I mean, that's the problem right now with the people who are on the coaching market is a lot of people who probably should get a look, they're going to be on down the line before they probably get the look. Because, I mean, if you have an open position and you don't interview Harbaugh and Belichick, then, you're negligent as an owner and, general manager, that kind of thing, I'd say, in the NFL.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Well, I hope to see the Ravens and 49ers in it, and I hope the Ravens win it.
The Ravens. Best quarterback in the game.
But, after this past weekend.
How good did Baker Mayfield look?
He had a good game.
He did. But
the Eagles were terrible.
The Eagles, and everybody was talking
couldn't tackle
about the
anybody.
Cowboys. Man, the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean,
Dak did what Dak does.
well, he didn't.
And they're going to pay him $50 million a year?
Man, you think Dak was the problem? They couldn't stop
He was a
the
bunch of
Packers.
the problem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he did not help himself at all in the first quarter, but that defense that was supposed to be one of the best ones in the league could not stop the Packers.
No.
I mean, there were people wide open all over the place. They couldn't get any pressure on the quarterback. So, I don't know. The Cowboys look unprepared to play that game, which goes back to that earlier question about Mike McCarthy.
I've been reading a lot about CeeDee Lamb before the game,
You read?
just on Twitter.
Oh,
and
not books.
ESPN. No, I don't read books.
Go ahead, sorry.
Because they usually have a picture with it. And then that draws my attention.
Don't feel alone in the world. That's the way it works for a lot
I'm
of
not
people.
alone in the
No,
world. But I think there was a lot of friction going on with Dak and CeeDee Lamb before the game started.
And that's interesting too, because I think it was the first or second interception that Prescott threw. It was a crossing route to CeeDee Lamb, and it looked like he had decided he was going to throw it to CeeDee Lamb before the ball was even snapped. And the other defensive back just peeled off the guy that he was covering and picked it off underneath. And it was like one of those plays where if there was friction, then I feel like it's the quarterback's role to say, I got to throw the ball where it needs to be based on what the defense is showing me.
Right.
If they are over and under covering you and they're taking you away, then that means other people are open and I got to throw them the ball. And if you're mad about it, I'm sorry.
All right. Big college game tonight as we close. Kentucky is hosting Mississippi State. Is that correct? Yes. And Louisville is on the road against number 4 North Carolina.
Oh, good.
And Louisville's going to win tonight. You heard it first.
Okay.